In today's video, we are going to do a deep dive on hip mobility and stability. It's going to be a little series that some of you that may be a little bit further along in your recovery can maybe incorporate into your home exercise program. What I have noticed with patients that I see in person is a lot of times this is neglected, not just on the weaker side if you've had a stroke or you have hemiparesis, but also on the stronger side. And it's absolutely critical to try and balance out the stability and the mobility, which means kind of like the range of motion in your hip, to improve your overall walking, as well as to just improve your mobility as far as getting on and off the floor, which is a skill that everyone should be able to do or should have in mind as a future goal. So in this video, we're going to go over what I think is some very, very important exercises to increase your hip mobility in all directions or in all planes. And then we're going to incorporate that into some movements that are going to challenge both your hip mobility and your hip stability. So we're starting out pretty easy for this first exercise. We're just rocking your knees from side to side, really working on those hip rotators. I'm going to show you two positions laying down, and then we are going to advance this. So this is really the starting point, but if this feels like it's super easy or you're not getting a really good stretch out of it, just hang on because we are going to advance this a little bit more for some of you who have a little bit more flexibility. But to start, you're just going to start on your back, knees bent, feet about shoulder width apart, and then you're just going to rock your knees side to side. Just try and stay nice and relaxed, and you just want to keep it real rhythmic. Just all the way from one side to the other. Try and make sure that you're going equal distance to both sides. What I notice a lot of times is the side that's tighter, you just kind of cheat it a little bit and then you'll go right back to the other side. So just pay attention and make sure you're going as far as you can within reason so that it's not too uncomfortable, but you should feel a little bit of a stretch at the end. And then to advance it, you're just going to cross one leg over the other and just use that leg. This will give you a little bit of a deeper stretch. So this is the hip that we're stretching right now. I crossed my opposite leg over the top, and I'm just pulling it down. And again, I feel like you should do this on both sides. So then I'm just going to switch and cross the other leg over. So the leg on top is the leg that's helping to stretch the bottom leg. And then just pull it as far as you can. And then the other thing is make sure your shoulders are staying down. So make sure you're not just rolling onto your side. You really want to feel that deep stretch through your hips. All right, and then once you feel like you have mastered that, we're going to move this to sitting. And this alone right here might be hard for some of you, but this is the leg that we're stretching right now. You want to put that leg kind of up on a stool, and then you're just going to try and drop that knee in towards your other knee. So really feeling that stretch all on the outside of this leg. And this one you want to hold about a minute. And again, I think you should do this on both legs. All right, and then once you have that stretched down, you're going to scoot back a little bit. You can do this in a chair if you want to, but now you're going to try, if this is your weaker leg, use your other hand if you can to grab onto this foot. If you have an AFO, you can grab onto the strap on the front of the AFO. That'll work as well. But you're just going to pull that foot up. This might be a little bit challenging for some of you, and then you're just going to let that knee flop out to the side. If that is too hard for you, or you just can't get your foot up that high, just put that stool in front of you and let that leg drop out to the side. All right, but once you can do that, you really want to try and see if you can get that foot up. And again, if you fall backwards, you might just want to sit in a chair. You'll just probably need to be in a chair that doesn't have armrests on it, and then pull that foot up as high as you can, and then let that leg just kind of flop out to the side. If you can tolerate it, you can push on it a little bit. If you have strength in your weaker arm, you can even push on it with your weaker arm. All right, and then once you've mastered all of those and you feel like as far as your hip mobility goes, that all of those stretches or mobilizations were pretty easy for you, then we're just gonna go down to a stool, pull one foot back, and you're just gonna let both legs fall to one side. And then, without moving your feet, I want you to try and just rotate to the other side, letting both legs just kind of flop out, or letting this leg come in and letting this leg flop out. And then you're just going to rotate back to the other side. And then if that's pretty easy for you, then you can try going down to the ground and doing the same thing. This is pretty hard and I don't have the best flexibility in my hips, so it is challenging. But again, you want to try and do that same rotation, really working those hips. And again, this isn't just working the mobility, but you're actually working a little bit of strength as well. And just rotate back and forth. Now we're going to start working some mobility and stability at the same time. You're going to either hold a weight or just clasp your hands together, and I want you to reach all the way down to the ground, as low as you can on the opposite outside of that front leg. And then I want you to reach that weight all the way up, almost like you're tossing it over your opposite shoulder. And then back down, almost touching the ground. And then come all the way back up again over your opposite shoulder. All the way down. And all the way back up. And you want to try and do that on both sides. So let me show it to you on the other side. You're going to come all the way down and then all the way back up over your opposite shoulder. All the way back down. And then all the way back up over your opposite shoulder. All right, and then continuing on that hip mobility, and this is really working both hips, so you do want to do this on both sides, but you're going to start on your knee and then try and come all the way up and tap the top of that yoga block. And then if you can, try and tap down on the other side. So crossing midline might be hard for some of you, and also it takes a lot of stretching to get your hips to be able to do this and get everything loose enough to be able to do this. So if you can, tap it down, and then you want to come back up onto the block, and then back down onto the other side, and then all the way back. And then if you can do that, what you want to try and do is bring it all the way up and over the block, and all the way back down. And again, you do want to try and do this on both sides if you can. Let me see if you could do it holding on with your strong arm if one of you have a weak arm. Yeah, you could. So you could do it on both legs, even if you have one strong arm to hold on with, and then bring it all the way back. But if you have good use of both arms, just switch it to the opposite side. And same thing, start by centering your weight over the knee that's down, bring it all the way over. And you'll feel a pretty good stretch once you get it all the way over there. And then bring it all the way back. All right, and then for this one, we're gonna get a little bit crazy now. You're gonna start a little bit bent down, and then you're just gonna try and pivot and tap one knee down, and then pivot and tap the other knee down. Now again, really, this is for those of you that are a little bit higher level, so I started with a little bit of the easier stuff. Now we're gonna work more up to the advanced stuff. There are several reasons why this is such a valuable exercise. You want to be able to get your legs into as many positions as possible, especially when it comes to preventing falls. You just don't want to have any limitations. You don't want your brain to feel like it's limited in any way. So just do what you can, but you do want to start with your feet kind of wide. And then you're just going to rotate that knee in and try and tap it down. And then same thing with the other leg. Rotate it in and tap it down, and then rotate it back out, and then rotate the other one in, and then rotate it back out. Now on this next exercise, what you're going to do is you're just going to start standing and you're just going to try and rotate that leg up and out to the side, and same thing with the other one. Just rotate it up and out to the side as high as you can get it. This is working both legs, so if you can, try and do this on both sides. If you need to get in a corner to make yourself feel a little bit safer. Even if you need to lean against a wall or hold on to a counter, you can do that, but the goal is to really rotate that hip as much as possible. The ultimate goal is to not hold on to anything, because again, we're trying to work the mobility and stability in both legs. So although this is the leg that's moving, we're also really working the hip stabilizers in this leg. So again, standing on one leg, you're just going to try and rotate that leg out, rotate that leg out, rotate it out, rotate it out, and then the opposite of that, you're going to rotate it in. Rotate it in, try and get that knee, that heel up towards your knee. Rotate it again. Again, we need to get these legs into as many positions as possible just for overall stability. So rotate it and then rotate it. And if you're a little bit more advanced, you could add a TheraBand around your knees to make it a little bit harder. But again, your goal is just to kind of get that heel up as high on that foot as you can. If you need to hold on for support, hold on. But once you feel like you're comfortable and eventually don't need anything, hopefully, then you do want to try and do it without holding on to anything. And again, rotate, 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 rotate. All right, and then same thing going out, out, out. Now before you guys think these things look silly, I highly, highly, highly recommend you give these a try. It's super important, I promise. Out, all right, and then the last crazy one we're gonna do is you're just gonna kick your leg out, cross it across the front, kick it out and set it down, kick it out, cross it over, kick it out and set it down, kick, cross it over, kick it back out and set it down. Again, now we're just adding a little bit of a rhythm to it as well. So getting a lot of hip rotation all within one kind of movement. The key to this one is really just relaxing. So a lot of times people stiffen up quite a bit, and then that makes it look a little bit jerky, or it makes components of it a little bit more challenging to get through. So stay nice and relaxed. Kick, cross, kick, kick, cross, kick, kick, cross, kick, kick, cross, kick. And then that is it for this video. I hope you guys found this video helpful. I hope there's at least 1 or 2 exercises that you can do in there just to improve your overall mobility, your overall walking confidence, and ultimately to give you the ability to get out of any situation that you might find yourself in if you do lose your balance. If you're new to this channel and you haven't yet subscribed and you like this kind of exercise, definitely hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so that you'll get notified every time I upload new videos. I enjoyed spending time with you all today, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day.